Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and I have a perspective I want to go over. In my other videos, you may remember that I've said that there's a plan that the Democrats are using to try to protect themselves from potential prosecution or indictment. Kind of like, I am the all-powerful, laws don't apply to me. When I told you that I haven't been able to find it since, but I did find where there were over 100 different people that were signed up for the Democrat ticket, running as potential candidates. A lot of those people they're just nobody, but they've got reasons for wanting to be on that protection ticket. Well, the idea is they think that as a candidate, they are exempt from indictment or prosecution. They're protected under the rules, not to be confused with laws, that say that an attempt to investigate, indict, and prosecute a candidate running for president is not legal because that would be considered as election tampering or meddling in a election. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the perfect example has become relevant in the news about the situation with Crimea. As you know, during the reign of the former administration, the vice president put his child in a position on a company in Crimea, and apparently the deal was pretty shady. There was a lot of strong-arming going on, and there was an investigation underway. Well, excuse me, I just ate. Got a lot of air coming up. Anyway, so the investigation was underway into this company, and the vice president met with the Crimean leader and told him that there was, $1 billion coming his way, and that the vice president was going to put a stop to it unless one certain prosecutor was fired. Well, that's illegal. That's pay for play. That's I'll give you something if you give me something, which in foreign policy is not legal. Well, the vice president, and the reason I have to say the stupid titles and stuff is because if I say the names, then their tube will just decide to flag the video and you guys won't hear what I have to say anyway. So, unless I say something like China Joe. Where's Nick when I need him? Anyway, so the point I'm making is that the vice president admits on a tape, on a recording, I mean, we don't do tapes anymore, so digital. He admits to strong-arming the leader of Crimea and telling him that if this prosecutor is not fired, you don't get the $1 billion. Well, amazingly enough, the prosecutor was fired. And in the end, I don't know that the investigation ended, but it sure had a stick put in its spokes. But the point I'm making is they're trying to project this onto our president, saying that he offered something in exchange for something else to the Crimean leader, saying that he wants the corruption investigated of the former regime. Well, the media is going crazy trying to go after President Trump for this based on a whistleblower that the more it's being researched is found to have, at best, third-party information, no first-hand knowledge of a conversation that was done by our president, and no knowledge of anything outside of the secret sent across the room, whispered in the ears of one another until it becomes a totally different story at the other end. That's the kind of stuff they go by. Well, I heard from a friend who said that this other guy told me something about this, and that's what I'm sticking to. That's the magic of creating a talking point based on no information. Have somebody say it, send it out to the media, have the media report it, and then bring it back to the people in the Congress from the media and say, look, there's proof. The media reported it. That's the wrap-up smear. It's been explained by Nancy Pelosi, and she didn't even feel bothered explaining it to the media what a wrap-up smear was. So these people are crooked as hell, and the crime spree that takes place on the Democrat side primarily, and some of the rhino Republicans that have been schmoozed by the Democrats to follow suit, it's the whole thing is frustrating as hell. But I've mentioned it before that they think they're protected from indictment because they are a candidate for the presidency. So they feel like they're untouchable. And they're using stories from the Democrats that they have verifiable proof. They use those stories, they ignore them, they rewrite the heading, and they put a Republican in the title. So it's absolute projection. And the whole premise of this video is to remind you that they think they're protected because they're running for president, and they believe that this is the first excuse to prove that point by saying, oh, the president is trying to meddle in the election of a opposing candidate to try to interfere with his chances of being president. Well, the vice president, former regime vice president, is screwing himself on his chances of ever being a candidate, unless the deep state just plows him through and controls him with their puppet strings. But anyway, so that's what I got. And it's a little explanation of how things are working right now so that it doesn't seem confusing and, well, why are they saying the president is meddling in foreign affairs? Well, because they're using a thing called the wrap-up smear, and the reality is there's an enormous amount of leeway with foreign leaders in their communications. And technically speaking, if a president says, well, if you root out the corruption of your administration, then I might free up a little more trade. You know, we'll get some more trade going on with your country, maybe help your economy a little bit. The Democrats are calling that kind of thing pay for play, which is stupid. That's foreign policy. And all they have to do is retitle something according to them, and everything works in their favor, just like the definition of lobbying compared to bribery. The only difference is that when you pass somebody money in an elected position as a lobbyist, you are promoting another entity. You're trying to get them to help that other entity, whereas bribery is the exact same thing, but bribery is only used if you piss off the politician you're trying to lobby. Because if you're not doing what the politician wants, if you're not giving them the money that they want, then all they have to do is say, look, this idiot over here just tried to bribe me. He offered me this much money to do this for him. Well, then you end up prosecuted for trying to bribe an elected official. So it's a dangerous little thing by the wordsmithing that's done by the elected officials. And people just need to be aware of all the little tactics that are used. But anyhow, so I will be on with Belinda at 7 Eastern tonight, 6 Central. Another episode of real weird, real funny, real news. It will be a good one. I got some really good articles pulled up about this one. So enjoy a little comedy in this week of darkness that always seems to surround us. That's the goal of my Tuesday night show. If you find a serious article on my show on Tuesday night, let me know about it. I'll discipline myself and I'll have that corrected. But mind you, they are all real news. I'm not putting any fake news out there. But so that's it. That's that. But anyway, if you guys like what I have to say, make sure you hit that like button. Tell your friends about me. Subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends to subscribe to my channel, and I'll get more details out as I get them. And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern on Real Weird, Real Funny, Real News. Y'all stay in the fight.